Bonsai, I am the Cobra Kai Kid, and today I am joined by the one and only Sean Chandler. Sean, how are you doing today?
I am doing good because we have some gigantic Karate Kid, perhaps Cobra Kai news to talk about, and I'm finally getting to talk to you. This is exciting.
I know, it's so nice to meet you. I mean, you cover Cobra Kai on your channel, I cover Cobra Kai on my channel, and now it's time to join these two sides together, the Miyagi-Do and the Cobra Kai.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so before we get into it, I mean, I'm sure people recognize you from your channel. Can you just talk a little bit about what it is that you do, what your channel is, and what you cover?
Yeah, so I have a movie TV YouTube channel. I'm primarily known as like the ranking guy. I didn't mean to become the ranking guy, but that's the way the universe played out. So all the big gigantic franchises, whatever they are, I rank them. I love making lists and picking my favorite, which one's the best, which one's the worst. And then kind of on franchises that in particular I love, I'm really into, do deeper dives. So with Cobra Kai, ranking the characters and their character arcs, the best fights, all of that fun stuff, just deep diving into it, nerding out. I was driving everyone I know in real life crazy talking about movies and TV way too much. So I went to the internet where all the other people that drive people crazy talking movies, TV, Cobra Kai, Karate Kid, way too much go. And I found my tribe here on the internet.
That is amazing. And yes, of course, we're going to be talking Cobra Kai, Karate Kid, and I have to ask because of this news
Yeah.
of the new Karate Kid movie. It'll be interesting to see both of our perspectives. So I actually watched Cobra Kai first
Okay.
before Karate Kid. I saw the show, then I went back and watched the movie. So there's that for me. But for
You've seen
you,
none of the movies.
well, now I have.
Well, no, but I mean, you had seen zero, not even Jackie Chan, zero movies, but pre Cobra Kai.
Actually, I think I may have seen the Jackie Chan one.
Okay.
I just don't have like a big memory of it. You know,
Yeah.
like those movies that you just
Yeah.
see and then you forget about. It was like that. It didn't have this like the fact that I can't remember kind of says
It says everything. Yeah.
I definitely didn't see it in theaters. It was kind of it was maybe on TV or something. I don't even remember. Probably saw clips. I knew of it. Just I could have watched it and I just had no idea. It didn't really stand out, and I guess I probably never watched the full thing because I think if I did watch the full thing, I would have enjoyed it and I would have gotten into it.
Yeah.
But for you, before we get into this news, were you into Karate Kid? Like how long before Cobra Kai were you a Karate Kid fan?
Decades, long before you were born. So I don't remember when I first watched Karate Kid.
Yeah.
But like I remember being aware of Karate Kid 3 coming out, which should give you a sense of my age. I saw the next Karate Kid in the theater, and I've always had even a fondness even for that one. Like I remember back when I was growing, there's so many details in this story that just set me in a time and a place. But like I remember when I was growing up, my family would go to the library and you could check out records from the library, and I checked out the Karate Kid Part 3 soundtrack from the library. So that's actually, but of all the first memories of Karate Kid, checking out the soundtrack for Karate Kid Part 3, weirdest first memory you can have. But it wasn't that was my introduction. It's just that's the earliest memory I have. Karate Kid was always a part of my life. Always something I remembered, always something I enjoyed. Like I said, saw Next Karate Kid in the theater. Even that one I have watched countless times back in the day. There's, I think it was a Funny or Die skit from 10, 12 years back about Ralph Macchio growing up and how he doesn't have any issues, so he's trying to be a bad dude and have it's just so like,
Wax
I remember that.
on, F off, right?
Yeah. Just like so funny, just loved it. And then they announced they're doing this Cobra Kai show, 6 years back, and I was like, oh crap, what are they doing? And it was going to be on YouTube Red, which YouTube Red was so bad it doesn't even exist anymore. It just converted into, you can do YouTube without ads.
Yeah.
It didn't stick around. And then they sold all their assets to everyone else. And so, oh crap, the worst thing out there is gonna ruin the Karate Kid. So the day it drops, lifelong Karate Kid fan, I tune in. Ironically, you could watch the first episode for free. I watch it, get to the end of it, look over at my wife, and I think we're both a little confused. Like, wait a minute, I thought I was just watching this ironically, and we're both like, can we watch the next episode? I think I like that.
That's pretty good.
I was actually that was good. What just happened? And so then we signed up for YouTube Red, and as it turns out, not having commercials on YouTube is awesome. So we still have YouTube Premium. The reason we signed up for YouTube Premium, as it was called YouTube Red at the time, was just for Cobra Kai, and we still have it 5.5 years later. But binge it over the weekend and was like, what just happened? Like I don't. And so then I spend the next like 2.5 years, and I didn't even cover it when it first came out because nobody watched it because it was on YouTube Red, and it was right when Infinity War came out. It was like the same window of time with Infinity War, and then second season comes out when Endgame comes out. So I barely covered them. But every time people are asking, oh, that crappy Cobra Kai, that garbage, I was like, dude, if you watch it, if you actually like, I don't know how they did it, but it is so different, but it's exactly the same. It captures the energy. It's all there. And then whenever they dropped it on Netflix, I did a Karate Kid ranking whenever the first season dropped. Mm-hmm. And it did fine. As soon as Cobra Kai dropped on Netflix, it skyrocketed. And it literally, it went like it did 10 times as many views later on, and it did fine. 10 times fine is quite good. But it was when it dropped on Netflix and the show exploded, and all of a sudden people are like, oh, have you seen this show? I was like, I have been telling you about the show for 2 years now. What are you telling me about the show I've been telling you about? So anyway, that's my history with it. So I have thoroughly enjoyed it. And the fun thing over the last 2 seasons is that my middle child has been getting into it. And so cool. And that's, trying to show her a 40-year-old movie about a guy in need of a father and a father in need of a son. She doesn't fully connect with 40 Karate Kid, but she can connect with this new modern spin that it's the same journey.
How old is your middle daughter, if you don't mind me asking?
She's 9, probably a little bit too young for Cobra Kai, but you're never too young to fall in love with the good stuff. Yeah.
So I'm curious, how does a 9-year-old like process all of it? Like what stands out to her about the show?
I haven't gotten a good vibe on that. Because even think, the last time we watched it wasn't yesterday when she was 9. It was over a year ago when she was 8.
Yeah.
And she started getting into it when she was like 7. So I think it's some of the irreverence, there's some fights and just kind of humor, but and when you're 7, you're not the best, 7, 8, you're not the best at like, well, Father, let me explain to you. I resonate with the teenage politics more so, and Tori, I see Tori, and at first I hated her, but when I started to understand her, it made me look at this girl in my class at school and realize that maybe there's more, like,
Yeah.
So she kind of connected on the I'm not sure, but like we even played the Cobra Kai video game together. So we're like, dude, I'm introducing my kids to like 1990s style side scrollers through Ninja Turtles and Cobra Kai. There's awesome. All of these things that multi-generational. That's fun when that happens.
That's so cool. And yeah, I kind of had a similar story in which I didn't. It's not that I thought the show was going to be bad. I just didn't know what it was.
Right.
I was doing YouTube at the time, but I wasn't doing Cobra Kai Kid, obviously. I was doing a different channel, and I was like doing, and I think I might have had YouTube Premium. Oh no, I didn't have YouTube Premium. I didn't have YouTube. The first episode was free. So I was on YouTube because I like to watch like videos in the background or something. Yeah. So I was doing some homework. I was like, let me just play something in the background. And I saw Cobra Kai. I'm like, what the heck is this? Like, sure, let's just throw it on, whatever. So it was in the background. I was doing homework, not even watching it. And then I would just like look up and I'm like, wait, oh, okay. Okay. Back to this question. Back to this. And then I was like, wait a second. I actually kind of like, maybe I should pay attention now and rewatch it. So like I just got into it, and then I Yeah, so I found a website where I could watch it, so I didn't have to pay for. Yeah, because I'm not gonna pay, but like let me search it up. But then after I watched the season 1, I was like, okay, this is too good. I'm like, and I started rewatching multiple times. So then I got YouTube Premium, and I fell in love with it. And yeah,
Right.
nobody knew what it was. I was like, I wasn't on the internet really. So I felt like I was the only person on planet Earth who knew what Cobra Kai was. I was like, how?
Right, when it fell into this weird spot for like the fact that it exploded eventually is still kind of wild, because if you're in high school, middle school, kind of its target audience when it first came out, you don't know what it is because you're too young for all the previous stuff. Yeah. And if you're my age, you're like, oh, what is this crap? Why are you ruining another one of my franchises? Like, it fell perfectly into this empty dead zone. And that, like, for everyone my age, they had to be won over because it just sounded like, how could you turn Hot Tub Time Machine people doing that to Karate Kid? How dare you? You're ruining my childhood.
Harold and Kumar.
Yeah, right. And then the magic of the show is that it's a great on-ramp. It works perfectly fine as an on-ramp, which is still astounding to me that it works as an on-ramp. Like, it's not possible for me to understand why it works for you. Because I just watch it and there's so many details throughout the entire thing, and it's so overt. Like, we're gonna call Terry Silver. Like, why would you? Like, that means nothing unless you're what, like, and somehow that worked. And so most people might hate Karate Kid Part 3, and somehow it still worked, and we're like, yeah, they're gonna call Terry Silver, and it worked.
Yeah.
But, and then it also had to, like, win people over, and it did two very difficult things, which is win a new audience as well as win back a cynical audience.
100%. There's, yeah, by the time, like, Terry Silver was coming into the picture, I knew, you know, I'd seen all the movies, I was into it. But you do have people who have never seen any of the movies, and it's like, yeah, like Terry Silver, hey, long time. And it's like, it doesn't matter if you haven't watched the movies, because it's like, ooh, there's this new guy, and he's tall, and he's kind of scary looking, and he is rich, and like in a way, it's like, that's why it was really cool for me. Like, a lot of people would say, like, you didn't watch Karate Kid when Cobra Kai came out, like, and I'm like, yeah, but you know what? I kind of preferred that. It was really cool getting to see it from a different perspective. And honestly, I mean, listen, obviously I love the Karate Kid movies.
They should do like a trilogy of movies about this rivalry between Daniel, Mr. Miyagi, and Cobra Kai from back in the 80s. Wait, it already exists? This is the perfect prequel.
You know what, Sean? That's actually what happened to me. So I knew there was a first movie. I didn't know, like, how many movies there were. And I definitely didn't know about the one with Julie Pierce. But, like, when I found out that when I found out about, I think it was specifically Karate Kid 3, when I was like, wait a second, this guy Terry Silver? Oh my God, this guy is like, they got to bring this guy in. It was like, it was so mind-boggling to me. It felt like, you know, it felt like I was like, it was like new movies for me.
Right.
It was new content. It was new lore. I was like, but this has been here for over 30 years, and I'm just discovering this.
Right.
It was so crazy. It was such a good time. It was so fun.
Yeah. I don't know. There's so few examples where they've been able to pull this type of thing off.
Yeah.
Of just such cross-generational appeal. Like, I think the person that impresses me, sticks out in my mind the most, guy I worked with when I delivered paint for a living, named Jerry. He is the classic. He's just a couple years older than me, but like, he's the get off my lawn. The 80s were the best. Like, he's like firm. These movies these days are garbage. Let's get back to the good old days. He hit that phase sooner than most. Like, loves movies, but old movies.
Johnny Lawrence.
Yes. Yeah, he's a Johnny Lawrence of the world. Yes, perfect. And when the show first dropped, he was working with him. No, I'm telling you, it's pretty good. And he didn't watch it until Netflix. And by then, I was full time on YouTube. He watches it and he texts me out of the blue. You were right, man. They pulled it off. And he when I think of who's the most cynical, is him. And then around the same time, my 9-year-old, then 7-year-old, whatever, also is like, "Can I watch this with you?" Like, probably no, but I'm a bad parent, so yes. So I'm kind of a good parent, some mix of the two. And those two, like that level of cross-generational appeal, that's just really special. And it goes back to, I mean, I think what was so special about the original Karate Kid, that it is this kind of timeless, deeply personal story that hits on several layers, which is why it was so beloved at the time. The story of a kid in need of a mentor, facing bullies. This is, anyone can connect with this. And as you get older, you start to connect with the adult in different ways of, in which case these people that in searching for meaning and impact in their life. And so a great father without a child, like, this is a timeless story that connects with all generations, and it did then. And then they found a way to repackage it and be so true to all of that. But at the same time, flip the formula. And so it's just, they I don't know. It just, one of those shows like that's truly special in what it was able to do. In fact, the only person I found that isn't really crazy about it, I found this out yesterday. I guess Thanksgiving politics comes up, of course. And so apparently with our family, that means talking about Cobra Kai. And my sister, she goes, I guess I mentioned, tomorrow I'm going to be doing a bit about Cobra Kai. And they're doing a new movie. She goes, yeah, I watched the first season and a half. Didn't like it. What? What? It's like, yeah, I don't like that they turned Daniel into a villain. Not cool. It's like, well, I think that's Daniel is acting fully in character. Maybe he's a little dense. Maybe the perspective is different, but Daniel was always obnoxious. That's who he is. He's that guy. And if you keep watching it, he's in no way actually a villain. He's just as flawed as he always was. And I was like, yeah, but you can always watch the Karate Kid from the perspective. He came along and he stole someone else's. They were just like on a break. This is classic stuff. And then it started getting heavy at the Thanksgiving dinner table. Actually, we were at Cracker Barrel. Is where we were at, because it was the way it worked out. We were at Cracker Barrel for my second Thanksgiving with this side, my side of the family. I backed off from the politics. Yeah. Well, we don't want to break up the family over these strong conversations, heated conversations.
Oh, definitely. And I've had my few encounters with people more like in person where they've said, yeah, I watched Cobra Kai and I didn't really like it. And probably like there were two really controversial takes that I heard. I was like, wow, like I'm so surprised by out of all the things you could have said, they said the guy with the blonde hair isn't really a great actor. I was like, oh, okay. And then they were like, also the guy with the older guy with the silver hair. I'm like, wow. So she thinks that Zabka and Griffith are bad actors. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, I was like, I had to keep it in me. I was like, oh, okay. You're entitled to your opinion, but no, but the thing is,
they're so good on the show. They fit the show they're in so well.
But you know what? Forget that. It's like, have you ever seen a show with like, there's not a lot of controversy with this show. Like, it's so beloved. How?
That's actually where I was going with this. This is one that was like, especially rewatching the first season, where it's so politically incorrect, and they get away with it. There's been no effort to cancel it. There's nothing on the internet like Johnny Lawrence. How dare he say these ableist statements or whatever? Every time I rewatch, it was like, they go so hard on so many inappropriate things, and he's like beating up kids. And no one cares. I was like, what? How did this show get a pass? I love that it got a pass. I'm so grateful it got a pass.
Because I mean, it's like they kind of like make fun of it. It's like, you know, do you remember like one of the best ones, like one of the best examples where they're like they're literally making fun of the whole thing. In season 2, Kreese walks into the dojo and he sees a kid wearing a shirt that says like the future is female, and he's like, Jesus Christ.
Right.
It's so funny.
And they get away with that, and it's like, and that once again, they found the perfect spot in the middle of all of it to where people my age that are like confused by like society these days, we're all like, yeah, and teenagers aren't offended by it. They're like, yeah, okay. Like they found it. They found the way to get away with so much, and like we're all entertained with the spot that they go with it.
Yeah.
That is magic right there, when you can even pull us together on old men insulting children and assaulting children over political correctness. And we're all like, that was good. That's good humor right there.
It really is. There's so much to it, and now this leads into an interesting conversation because
Yes.
I loved how, you know, we were talking about how much we love Karate Kid, how much we love Cobra Kai, because now we have this brand new announcement that is separate from Cobra Kai Karate Kid, but is actually tying in. There's a lot here, and I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. Like, I don't know what you're gonna have to say about this, but
I don't know either. I'm still waiting to find out what I'm going to think about it, but I have to start talking in 10 seconds.
That you do. So let's check out on Tuesday a video dropped. Let's check out the video and we'll give our thoughts. So here it is.
Hi everyone, we've got big news. We're starring in a new Karate Kid movie together. That's big news. But we even have bigger news. Bigger than that, we're looking for next Karate Kid. That's right, the global search for the star of our new film starts right now. So let's wax on, wax off, everybody. You mean check it on, check it off, crank it up? Maybe the new Karate Kid will have to do it all. I'm excited. You excited? I'm very, very excited. Let's do it. Learn more about this new role. Submit your audition video.
First off, I noticed in the back of your thing, if I could put you full screen, I noticed that the Cobra Kai on the TV. That's pretty cool.
Yep, I came prepared. As soon as you go full screen, you can see the full set.
Yes. So, did you cover a video on this or no?
No, I haven't, because it was Tuesday right before Thanksgiving. So, I have not shared my thoughts on this anywhere as of yet, besides one tweet saying, so many implications.
I did see that. Yeah, because I was looking on your channel to see like if you posted anything, and I was like, oh, okay. So I'm getting the scoop here. So
You are.
this is big. Okay, so you see that video, right? What is the initial reaction? There's a new Karate Kid movie, which they had already talked about. But now Ralph Macchio, Daniel Russo, and Jackie Chan, Mr. Han, are together. What are your thoughts?
It's the sort of announcement where my brain just immediately just goes question. Like, all I have are questions as to what on earth is implied by this, because it's on so many levels, so deep of what? So, of course, we've talked about longtime Karate Kid fan, but the other important detail you need to know about me, my journey into covering movies on the internet goes back to the late 90s, when my first real movie webpage was a Jackie Chan fan page.
Wow.
Back in 1998. So there's like all sorts of layers of like, oh, that's cool that my worlds are being pulled together. And, you know, when in 2010, when they said we're going to do Jackie Chan as the new version of Mr. Miyagi, of course, my first thought was he doesn't know karate. Second thought was, oh, that's perfect. And now they're pulling those two worlds together. So I'm excited by the possibility, worried by the possibility. I'm curious. Like, I just want more answers so I can have define my feelings a little bit more, because there's several paths here where I could be like, what? Really? Like, are we sidelining Cobra Kai to do this? And Ralph Macchio is a part of that? Like, that that feels like, what are you doing? Like, why would you sideline the audience? Or is it super exciting that like Jackie Chan's going to show up in season 6 at a cameo, and maybe Jaden Smith's like, "I'll get out the trophy." That's my impression of Jaden Smith. It's the worst impression ever of any person ever. Me saying that was Jaden Smith, whatever that was, that came out of nowhere. But like, are they doing like a little cameo to like do a little bridge? Is it going to be kind of this soft follow up to everything that in no way contradicts what we've talked about in the past, but doesn't overtly reference it too much? What, like, I have all these questions that I want to know the answer to, but I'm excited to hear those answers. Anxious. I'm all the different feelings about it. And then even as I looked at your list of questions, like, how well do you think it'll do? How do you think, like, every one of those questions that made me more so like, oh, I don't know. I need more answers to even stop to think about it. I would go back to something we talked about earlier of how, what part of the magic of Cobra Kai is their ability to pull from these two different audiences and pull them together, and it worked. Can you do that a second time? And this one adds in kind of an extra layer to it, because it's the fans of 80s, fans of Jackie and Jaden, and fans of Cobra Kai pulling those three things together. And you don't want to segment your audience. You don't want to alienate any one of those audiences. And if you find the perfect place, that it makes all of them better. And so we get worried because Cobra Kai has done a fantastic job of pulling its pieces together in a way that makes all of it better. And it's more satisfying. Karate Kid 3 has never been better than after the last 2 seasons of Cobra Kai. It made the characters better, the choices better, more meaningful. And can we find a way to do that, adding in this Jackie Chan Jaden mythology into it? Or are they going to do something that kind of diminishes Cobra Kai? Or they've picked that, like, this weird thing where it's like, it's its own universe. And like, then why are we doing it? Why are we playing this game? I don't know. I just need a few more answers to be able to define where I'm exactly at.
Yeah, I get 100% what you're saying. And it's very similar for me in the sense of any new announcement that comes out about this movie is just making me ask more and more questions. Right. There was an announcement last year that we were going to get a new Karate Kid movie. Mm-hmm. And my initial reaction was, why are we rebooting the Karate Kid again when John, Josh, and Hayden, the creators of Cobra Kai, took this franchise that was non-existent for like, I guess it was 7-8 years at the time since the last, since the 2010 movie. They took the franchise that was non-existent, there was nothing, and they literally revived it. And not only did they revive
against all odds, because they put it on freaking YouTube Red. Against all odds, they brought it back to life.
It was the underdog story, an incredible story. And the most exciting thing was hearing these guys say, yeah, we have plans beyond this. We want to expand the Miyagi-verse, and we want to dive into other stories and spin-offs and possibly do movies. And I am so excited to hear that. It's like, it makes you feel good because it's like there's other stuff beyond Cobra Kai. What could that mean? Could we get a Miyagi backstory? Could we get a story sometime after Cobra Kai? Could we get a story in between Karate Kid and Cobra Kai? Like, there's so much potential. And then we find out they're doing a Karate Kid movie. The big three are not involved. This has nothing to do with Cobra Kai. That's what the statements have said. Yeah. Like, this is not tied to the Cobra Kai universe. And then we get like this like story, like this like, did you see the leaked or the story that got put out about the guy who it's the kid training the adult? Did you see any of this?
No, I think I saw this one.
Wait,
that sounds great.
wait, Karate Kid 24.
The Karate Man.
Okay, the Karate Man. Wait, let me see if I can find it. Okay. Okay. Here, this is from an article. So here is what was posted. This was posted on November 14th of 2022, and this isn't necessarily confirmed, but this is what was going around, and it does, the character's name that they reference in this synopsis is Lee, and that is the name of the casting call. They're looking for a Lee, so kind of, I don't know. So
Lee is a very common name, but
spelled
yes.
spelled the same way, Li. I mean, I don't know, maybe. So let me read you the plot details and I do that because we don't know if it's like official, and I'd be curious to hear like if this was the movie we got. also I don't know how this ties in with Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio. Let's just read it. So, okay. So the story revolves around a small 17-year-old Chinese boy referred to as Lee, who is already proficient in kung fu instead of karate, as he moves to Brooklyn, New York with his mother. He is also said to be struggling with a past tragedy, which drives a wedge between him and his doctor mom, who has managed to handle the same tragedy in her own way. Lee would then meet a fellow high school student named Mia and Father Victor at a pizza restaurant. In a role reversal of the first Karate Kid movie, Lee would find himself mentoring Victor in the ways of kung fu.
Great.
I don't know about you, but when I hear this, the 1984 Karate Kid movie sounds like garbage compared to this.
I mean, I don't even know what the point of having the Oscars next year or 2 years from now. It's locked. It's right. Just hand them all the awards now.
Yeah.
I mean, just kind of like getting back to what we've discussed already about what makes Karate Kid and Cobra Kai so special is getting back to these kind of very human needs for mentors, for adults to have meaning and significance. Bullying when you're young, like all of those are things that are so universal, cross-generational. And you can see in a meeting with people that don't understand the source material that you're trying to like, all right, we've done the Karate Kid before. They already, we did the remake. And with sequels, you're always trying to think like, what if we reversed the formula? That's like the most obvious way. Yeah. Like, how can we be clever? Reverse it. Well, you have to find a clever way to reverse it, not just... So, what's the caveman version of reversing Karate Kid? All of a sudden, the child is mentoring a grown-up. Which, how does that resonate with any sort of like human primal needs? It doesn't really. Like 17-year-olds aren't like, I need my place in this world. How am I going to pass on everything that I've like? It doesn't like, it's not at all obvious. Whereas like the wit of Cobra Kai is Johnny is such the opposite of Mr. Miyagi, but if he's human, he still has needs and he's older and he has regrets. Oh, that's really interesting. And Daniel's been successful, and therefore his flaws... Oh, that's interesting. As opposed to 17-year-old trades-grown man from a pizza place.
Oh, man.
And you can imagine some scenario where they're going to do a fight scene in the pizzeria.
Dude, it's like flip the dough.
Yeah,
like, put the tomato like
whatever it is.
Instead of wax on wax, roll the dough, roll on the dough, roll off the dough.
Yeah, like like we're just sitting here writing this. No clue if this is accurate, anything like that. I mean, to throw a couple other things in there. Since I hopped onto our phone call 35 minutes, 25 minutes later, 35 minutes early, since I got the times wrong. Like the guy directing it. All he's done is some TV work. The guy that's current, and that's concerning. And then looking at who's writing it, another guy that it's like Goosebumps 2, Peter Rabbit, The Goldbergs, Alexander the Terrible, horrible, long time. Like, I don't look at that and go, yeah.
Oh, that guy's got to write the Karate Kid.
It's not obvious. And, it's the same time. Some little movie called Captain America Winter Soldier. They recruited some guys directing episodes of Community, and they go on to do Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame.
Yeah.
Well, so there's all these, and likewise, Hot Tub Time Machine guys are going to do Cobra Kai. How dare you?
Exactly.
I don't want to write people off, but you also don't immediately look at it and go, either one of these, well, that's obvious. And if we're pulling from television, there's a group of guys that have some resume in regards to Karate Kid here. And final thought to throw it back to you. This is Sony. Next year, they have not one, not two, but 3 Spider-Man movies coming out next year without Spider-Man. Madam Web, Kraven the Hunter, and Venom. This is a studio that whatever IP they have, they squeeze every drop out of it. And then they keep squeezing until the pulp comes out and you're just chewing on orange grind. Or lemon grind, whatever. They're just chewing on seeds. They just keep going. Even when Morbius, my 11-year-old, he hasn't seen Morbius. He walks around going, it's Morbin time. Like, he knows the memes. He knows, because it's the butt end of every joke to every 6th grader that has not seen Morbius. That's the reputation they built for themselves. They're still going, what 3 more Spider-Man, non-Spider-Man movies. That's the studio. So I don't trust them. And I don't know, like, having Ralph and Jackie in the trailer saying, we're doing a movie together, immediately makes you go, I trust them. Borrowed trust. You put the guy from the show that I like in, I trust him. Jackie Chan, my journey into this started with him. I trust him. And it bypasses the fact that Sony, as you said earlier, wait a minute, why are we doing this? Huh? Cobra Kai's already great. Cobra Kai's already has plans. Bypasses these leaked plots. Maybe it's total crap. I don't know. But, and as you read it, I think I did hear that, but my brain went, I don't want that to be true, so let's just file that away somewhere. So maybe that's true. Bypasses Sony milks everything until it is dry. Bypasses all of that and go, Daniel LaRusso is going to team up with Mr. Han. That's awesome. That could be cool. Are they really the stars? Are they just in a cameo? Are we just doing, what is it? I don't know. There's so many questions.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but it does feel like this is just, oh my God, guys, we have the Karate Kid. We got to do something with it. And another thing, I don't know if you know this, but originally the date of the movie, it was going to come out in June of 2024.
Yeah.
And they moved it back. So, I mean, that could have been because of the strikes. But honestly, I just think they want to get this out. And I think
so it's currently December. And the casting call on it says you need to be free in March and April. So they're looking to shoot in March and April. Like, that's on the casting webpage. That's when you need to be free for this wide casting.
March through June.
March through June.
Yeah.
But they're shooting Cobra Kai season 6.
Yeah.
In that same window of time.
They are starting in January. It's been confirmed. Yeah. And it takes at least 4, maybe 5 months. Like,
yeah, that we got there's some how's that going to work? And they haven't cast the person yet. So this is aggressive. This is an aggressive timeline. Man, so I don't know what that means. Like, how does that work when you try to do that? So, I'm sorry, I cut you off in the middle of you talking about the timeline.
Oh no, it's fine. No, that's a very good point. That's something that I've been wondering a lot, and there's certain things about this whole thing that I think if they were to just do this, or if they were to just do this, I wouldn't be as bothered by the announcement. One of those things being, if you want to have Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio in a movie together, I still have problems with like how is this like consistent with the universe you established? However, announce this like next year after season 6, and I'm chilling. I'm fine. But the fact that this movie is overlapping, like,
right? Oh yeah, that's a great point. Like, how close are these two things coming out together?
Well, the thing is, it's like if they're starting to film season 6 in the beginning of the new year, one might believe that season 6 will come out at the end of 2024. But we have a Karate Kid movie coming out at the end of 2024, and it's not separate because Ralph is in both of these things. So what's going to happen is like say like they have a very happy ending at the end of season 6, but psych, Jackie Chan needs Ralph's help to stop another I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. Or that's the exact reason it's going to be incredible. That's like the season debuts, like, you know, beginning of November or something like that, and you're watching it and it's so satisfying, and then we do our big Jaden walks out with the statue, whatever, teasing whatever the thing, and you go, oh, and then the post-credit scene is the first trailer for the movie. Like, maybe they've got some big master plan of like, we've completed Johnny's arc, we've completed Miguel's arc, and then Daniel's got one more adventure, and it like the season closes out, and Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio run towards each other. They jump in the air. They do this big gigantic high five,
it's like,
and then
it stops. It's like a freeze frame of them, and then it fades to black.
Yeah, the Karate Kids.
To be continued. It's like Back to the Future style. Oh man!
So, like, if maybe they've backed off, maybe they've started like to work together, maybe like that's where I could see the timing of this could be interesting. But if they're not connected, then what are we doing? And just to even think, like, if they are connected, imagine you're watching the finale of Cobra Kai and Jackie Chan walks out with Jaden, and it's like, once again, it's so satisfying, and then it teases this future thing, and it's like, oh, we are going to do more, as opposed to this confusing announcement where you're like, what? What? How does this work? What are they're coming out the same month? Like, we've had a couple different seasons debut this exact week in December. What are you doing?
Did you know? Oh, whoops! My headphones I just knocked my headphones out of my ears. Okay.
Yes, I did know. Since you can't hear me.
What'd you say?
Exactly.
I missed it.
I said something super insightful, and you missed it because you were goofing off with your headphones.
Dang. Okay. Well, I'll rewatch it.
Yes, you'll find out the secret to life, and I found out information about this. I had an inside scoop, and I shared it when your headphones fell out. Changes everything.
I know, literally. Now I'm out of the blue, or out of the blue. Yeah.
Out of the loop.
Out of the loop. Did you know that Jackie Chan was already in Cobra Kai?
I did not.
Season 1, episode 7. Robbie and Daniel are in the woods. Remember, like, Daniel's like, you know, training Robbie.
Yeah.
Okay. Robbie says, "Man, I feel like Jackie
Chan
right now."
Yeah. Okay.
So, is this like a Jackie Chan lookalike? Like, what? You get what I'm going with this, right?
Right.
This is like it's kind of like in Marvel, you know, them talking about Star Wars and Samuel L. Jackson's there, and it's like, he just looks like Mace Windu. Like,
in Winter Soldier, Captain America's got his little notebook, and if you read through what's in there, you get of his things that he needs to check out and look into. You run into some problems in the MCU.
I did not know that. I'm not huge into Marvel, so.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Love Spider-Man though. The iconic one. So does is like that's my issue. Is like, because the thing is, the Cobra Kai creators, when they made season 1, they were probably like so adamant that like the 2010 reboot, like they've already said it's not connected. They've already said that. So they wanted to go above and beyond, and it wasn't a coincidence they threw that line in there. They wanted to show everyone, no, this is separate. Robbie is literally saying, I feel like Jackie Chan right now. It's like, oh, they're not in that universe. But now, and I know I saw some comments like, what if they're playing different characters? They're not. They've already been confirmed. Daniel Russo, Mr. Han.
And why would you want that? Like,
why would you even want them to play different characters?
Like,
it would be weird.
Yeah. Ralph Macchio walks up. Hello, everybody. I am the judge of the tournament. Like, who would want that? The whole point is specifically those roles.
It's the whole point. So it's like, yeah, they're playing now these characters. And another question. I mean, listen, there's so many questions, but like,
I would say on that point, I would be fine if they just ignored that. Like, one line of dialogue, I don't think you determine your future on one line of dialogue. You like, I know, I get it. I appreciate the rub. Like, I don't want to diminish that. I wouldn't get fixated on that. If they have a fun story that continues it, just because like these creators had to do what they needed to do with the information they had at that time. And so I wouldn't lock in on that. Obviously there's a lot of emotions of like, all right, I trust the people that have done this thing I've really enjoyed for the last 5 years, more so than these two guys that I don't even know who they are until I looked up articles preparing for this live stream. So I don't like those guys undoing it, but I wouldn't. You make continuities very difficult. You limit potential of fun opportunities if you can't. Like, how much are we breaking continuity if it's like one throwaway line in the woods? So I don't lock in on those ones. If they've got a way to do it that I go, all right, yeah, this is fun. Like, if you can merge the universes, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Another thing.
Okay.
So
I cut you off there once again.
Sorry. Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. So you mean to tell me that like the Karate Kid in '84 and this reboot are in the same universe, and they just happen to have like almost identical stories? Like, it's like, hey, like, it's
well,
like
there's 8 billion people on Earth, statistically speaking. A lot of
I mean, but it's like the same thing. It's like Daniel talking to Mr. Han. It's like, oh, you did that? I did that too. It's like, it's not myself. It's jacket on, jacket up. It's like,
you also had a family die on the past?
Exactly.
Wow. What a...
Like, you also like trained a kid who moved to a new place with just his mom. His dad died, and you also had the kid won
bullying involved. There's a girl.
First, no mercy. There's a girl. You won the tournament with one big move at the end. It's like, come on, how many times does that happen? Like,
hey, but you forgave it when it happened in Cobra Kai.
No. But they did it differently. It was way different.
Yeah, there's a lot more plot beats.
Yeah.
Because it's a remake. It's an overt remake rather than a thematic remake, but not a plot beat remake.
That's the thing. That's why I have problems with it, because, yeah, like, you could have... It is a remake, so how could you combine these two things? And it just... I want to be excited. I really do. But honestly, I'm just so skeptical. Yeah. I have so many questions, and there's just a lot of this that doesn't make sense.
Right.
And out of all the things that they could have done, like, out of all the ways they could have brought Karate Kid back, this is the way. And you're also like, how is this going to interfere with season 6? There's a lot of questions.
Yeah. Well, and I think the big one in the case of both of us, the context in which we're here, of there's a thing that's Karate Kid related that means a lot to us, that we've invested a lot into. And even like literally your brand is the Cobra Kai Kid. Yeah. So you're very invested into a thing. And so you hear a new installment in that universe, in a sense, is happening, but potentially in a way that undermines the thing that brought you in. Like, right. Yeah. Just, we're going to take the rug out from underneath you. We're going to remove your foundation, do this other thing while borrowing Daniel LaRusso.
Yeah, it's like, ooh. And the fact that the writers aren't even involved, it's like, you see, as I said, a couple of things, if they had done, I wouldn't have a problem. If Daniel wasn't in this movie, I would probably be okay with it. But, you know what I mean? What are your thoughts on the 2010 remake on its own? Like obviously Karate Kid from '84 is iconic, it's special.
Yeah.
But on its own, what did you think about the Jackie Chan, Jaden Smith movie?
I've always been pretty mixed positive on it. I think it works well enough on its own. I think I don't know if this is just a matter of, Will Smith and his desire to make his child famous too soon. That by switching it to middle school, I don't know that it works as well, of this kind of like tribal, I don't know if tribal's the right word, but that's just like territorial protection of my girlfriend, aggressiveness at a degree that at that young of age, I don't know if I find that as believable, or if it just plays like I'm looking at children beating the crap out of each other. That some of that is, I don't think, works quite as well. Likewise, part of one of the reasons the original Karate Kid kind of works is that Daniel's not the best at karate, but he learns like just very simple defensive only. So if these guys doing this very elaborate aggressive stuff, and he's just learned in a short period of time how to like defend himself. It's not at all. If he was being aggressive, he would lose.
Yeah.
And so there's a reason that he was able to win. And it's true of like, if you play side-scrolling video games too, if you're the person that's very basic, but all you've learned how to do is these defensive counterattacks, you can win. Or you have to be very advanced. And then you watch this movie, and Jaden in 3 months learns how to do, like, instead of this crane kick, it's like a backflip thing.
Flies in the air.
Yeah, it's like, these are like world-class gymnasts. And on the one hand, I appreciate that Jaden was more committed to being a convincing fighter than Ralph Macchio seems to have ever been. Like, even I just watching the trailers back the other day after the announcement broke, and you're like, that's right, Jaden Smith could like kick straight in the air. Like, that is freaking nuts. Like, he committed. Like, people picking on Jaden. Like, Jaden's acting is not the issue in any of these or anything. Like, if he'd wanted to go down that path, he's talented. He could do it. But I think it works well enough. But I think there's the overly making them middle schoolers, I don't think served the story or served any of it. And then there's too much like violence and I don't know, like over the top moves for children.
Yeah, I 100% get what you're saying.
Oh, but of course, like I said, love Jackie Chan. Like, I think perfect casting. Obviously, it should be the Kung Fu Kid. Like, there's just some of these things. Like, I get the joke, I get the criticism. Of course, I would Hong Kong cinema. I was huge into it. So when they're like, we're doing the Karate Kid, they're going to go to China. Karate is not from China. Not the right thing. That's not how that works. We're going to do Jackie Chan. Not karate. Like, I get it. Totally get it. But as for if you're going to talk about reversing the formula in a way that probably makes sense, Jaden goes to China. That's a more reasonable, right, he's out of place in, gotcha, okay, I think that's fair. And if you're going to do that, who's someone that can bring that energy? Jackie Chan, and we get to see a very different type of Jackie Chan. And I love that. Just a very serious, dramatic version that's broken and lonely rather than jovial and fun. Though he has a little fun in there too. So there's a lot of things in there that I really enjoyed, and that's also probably like I'm rooting for this. Like, I'm just like maybe hoping against hope, maybe trying to bypass my very reasonable skepticism and all of your very reasonable skepticism to be like, but what if they can pull off a version that pulls all the pieces together? Because I'm rooting for it. But anyway, there's a lot that I loved in there, and there's a lot that's like, okay, yeah, that's those were choices.
Well, I love that you're being optimistic about this upcoming movie. Like, I kind of wish I could take some of your optimism. It's like it's really hard for me just because of like what's going on. I feel like once I see a trailer and then more stuff comes out, it'll give me more perspective and hopefully good perspective. But I do think like, you know, we should as a community, I mean, be honest, but also, yeah.
What did you think about 2010?
I liked it. I liked it. I thought it was fun, and I still think it's fun. Like I see a lot of people like, you know, when they hear about it, it's like, oh no, like it's not as good as the original. Like
that's Karate Kid purists, I think. Like if you, I was working with teenagers when it came out, and so that was their on ramp. Like, oh, did you see that new movie? It's like it was a big hit. Like I was surprised they didn't do a sequel back then because it did so well, and I imagine it's because after Earth, Jaden was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And the Smith family had to like, oh, maybe I shouldn't force my kids into it. I've read Will Smith's book, autobiography, and it gives us a very interesting backstory on all of what went down with all of that. And it's kind of exactly what you thought, which was he was trying to turn his kids into stars and kind of succeeded at it. And then they were like, hey, Dad, I don't actually want to do this. Like, I want to have a childhood. Especially with his daughter, she had like one hit single, and she's like, that was fun. I'm done. She literally told him like, I'm done. And he's like, oh crap. I'm trying to force my, probably the reason we didn't get a sequel to this big hit movie was he went, oh, they don't want to do this. No. Anyway, but, yeah, that people really liked it, but the purists, all the people that grew up on the old ones, were, oh, this thing just a remake. It's just like that typical.
Yeah, it is a remake.
Old man shouting at the sky. The original's better. Like, right, but this is an on ramp for a new generation to it. It's a timeless story.
Yes, it was an introduction for a new generation. Enough time had gone by from the last Karate Kid film, so I have no problem with it. Honestly, I wouldn't even mind like a sequel. Like before this announcement, I was like, yeah, if they ever did like a Karate Kid 2 with Jackie and Jaden, I'd be like, cool, whatever. Now this is different because they're tying it with Ralph and the Cobra Kai universe. But yeah, and I know a lot of the fights were so elaborate. I thought it was so cool. The fact that Jackie Chan, like when it's the fight of him against like the 5 bullies, and he doesn't even throw a single punch, and he's like using like their shirts like to tie each other up, and like he's like making them punch each other. I'm like, this is friggin' epic. Like, I don't know the name of the kid, but you know the main kid bully, the main guy.
Yeah,
he was phenomenal. He was scary. He was a great martial artist.
What's this kid like in real life?
I know. And like he is like 10 years old in the film or however old. He looks like they're all babies. And like they're doing some crazy martial arts. I'm like, okay, this is pretty epic. It's just like,
did you cool. seen are you familiar with Jackie Chan's work outside of that movie?
I've seen what was my neighbor's a babysitter. Oh no, my neighbor is my babysitter is a karate. What is it? My babysitter is a karate.
I thought you were telling me my babysitter was like, dude, you're a little bit old to have a babysitter. Like your babysitter.
Spy next door.
There we go.
I messed it up. I said my neighbor is my babysitter.
Like, what a confession. We're hearing all kinds of stuff on here.
No, the Spy Next Door, which now that I searched it up, it came out 2010, the same year.
Yeah. That's the only thing you've seen?
What else? Let me see. Jackie Chan movies. I guess maybe not like too much. No, that's the one that comes to mind. Yeah, I think maybe like some other ones, but like I don't know. Oh my god, yeah, he's done a ton. I guess that's the only one that really comes to mind.
Yeah, and there's like, what year were you born by chance?
2002.
2002, huh? I was in college. But it's like 2002 is like after kind of he's already on the decline by then. And so Karate Kid was even kind of a bit of a comeback for him.
I was 8 when that came out.
Right, exactly. And so like, I didn't expect you to have seen this. So like his thing is that both having like graceful choreography, but like he was known for like this prop fu, using the environment. And so then, he's fighting somebody and he's like grabbing the refrigerator, bonking him on the head, slides under a table, flips over it. And that was exactly when they said we're going to do him as kind of our new Mr. Miyagi. You start and you're famous for wax on, wax off, this creative use of environment to train. And you immediately went, what's Jackie Chan going to do? And so then like for you, that's it, your on-ramp. That's your like, oh, it's the coolest thing I've ever seen. He did this thing with the jacket, or he was fighting the guy and he didn't even made them hit each other. It's like, and like, that's your, like, for me, I was like, of course he did that. That's what Jackie Chan does. Yeah. But for you, that's the on-ramp. That's exactly why it's, sometimes these remakes are great things that you pull together. Jackie Chan, Karate Kid, sure it should be Kung Fu Kid, but a new group of people are now introduced to two different things that for me made a great deal to me. And maybe everyone won't go down the rabbit hole and all they'll do is hire their neighbor as their babysitter and watch the Spy Next Door or whatever. But
my babysitter is a neighbor.
my babysitter is a neighbor is a spy. What are you telling me right now? What is this confession? But it's an on-ramp. It's an introduction, and I think of that as a good thing. As long as it doesn't tarnish the reputation. That's your concern over this new movie. It's going to tarnish Cobra Kai. That's the valid concern. But if it doesn't do that, if it's just let's tell the story anew in its own pocket universe, cool.
I will say, because like there are some pluses with this. Like, let's forget tarnishing the universe and all that. Let's look at this movie in isolation. Dude, how sick is it going to be to see a fight scene where like Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio are teaming up? Like, come on. That's pretty cool. That's like fan fiction come to life right there.
And then at the end of it, Daniel does a crane kick. Jackie Chan does his own move. Their feet touch in the air, and then a big logo. I don't know what. I couldn't be Miyagi-Do because Han's not Miyagi-Do. Logo appears behind them, and the credits roll. We're writing this movie for them. They just need to listen to us. These are the best ideas ever. Not goofy or cheesy at all.
Oh, we can write a great movie. It's like they combine like wax on, jack it off, like they're doing the whole thing.
Yeah, we're brilliant. But yeah, I mean, I think there's like these. That's in my mind, like that I'm latching onto of like if they found the right angle, if they found a way to kind of like bridge these things together. Hopefully, it's not high schooler training a 50-year-old man to like. In fights with bullies. What even is that? What even is that bit?
Yeah.
But like, if there's something else in here that makes sense of a new telling of the story that goes back to the timeless elements and it has something fresh and new to do with it, that pulls these two characters together, there's something really interesting there. There's something really cool there. But if it can make it better, and it doesn't tarnish the reputation,
definitely. I have a question for you.
Yes.
So obviously we got Jackie Chan, we got Ralph Macchio, but we're also going to have a new Karate Kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you be okay if this Karate Kid wasn't really an actor, never did any acting? Because that's exactly what they're looking for. Acting experience is preferred, but not required. When I saw that, I was like, what? What are your thoughts on this whole thing that they're actually throwing it out to the world saying we're looking for a Karate Kid? Do you think this is a good thing, or do you think this is kind of like worrying where like they don't really have anyone or they don't really know, so they're gonna just throw it out to the world and now they're like, yeah.
I mean, it feels more like this whole thing. It's a publicity stunt. Is kind of what they're doing. That I think these used to be. We haven't done as many of these recently, but it's back in the day, we're looking for the new Anakin Skywalker, and kids lined around the block to be Anakin, and so they've done some of these open castings in the past. It's interesting that they decided to do it for this.
Very interesting.
This in this manner, that's what kind of you're watching the announcement, and for all of us, we're like, hey, we're doing a movie together, and then Jackie goes, and we've got something more exciting, and even in the ad, Ralph's like, more exciting than this, and we're like, what are you talking about? We're doing a casting call, and you go, okay, what does that mean? What? It's not unheard of to do this. It's not unheard of to be trying to find just a kid with a specific energy and attitude. And that's even kind of like Ralph Macchio. He just has this energy about him that's like this kind of obnoxious but likable obnoxiousness to him. And so you read it, he's smart, scrappy, and skilled in martial arts. So Scrappy kind of has this that resourcefulness of just they're looking for someone that has that energy. And so Short Round from Temple of Doom, I believe he didn't go in to try out. His brother went in to try out, and he was the one that just had this energy in the room that they're like, can you read these lines? And so he walks over and reads these lines. Yeah, there's a couple of those stories in the history of casting where someone drives their friend and then get the part or whatever. But it was something like that. He wasn't trying to get the part. He wasn't looking to do this. He just had this immediate energy and the personality. And so he's kind of playing himself. So it doesn't immediately concern me, because as soon as you're doing open casting, that's what you're saying. And come one, come all, we're trying to find the person. Literally. We're doing, and so you're trying to manufacture a star, find someone that we've got. Hey, you can even see what they're doing in the promotion. We've got Jackie Chan, legend, and we've got Ralph Macchio, the person associated with this franchise. They're tied to it, so you have borrowed trust, and then that gives them permission to find someone new that you've never heard of.
Yeah.
And it doesn't immediately worry me because there's enough examples. I saw an article right before we started that 10,000 submissions already, something like that.
Really? Wait, what article was that?
I just saw a tweet or something like that. So,
yeah, because I haven't heard anything about people submitting anything or any of that. Oh, I see that from Yahoo.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess 3 days ago, so almost immediately in the first 2 days. So Hollywood Reporter, they're probably, people submitted a bunch of stuff. And, people like, Sean, you used to submit your kids. Well, did you? First off, my kids are not 15 to 17. Second off, they are not Chinese. They do not know martial arts, and they are not great actors. But you're probably right.
Acting is not required.
Acting's not required. Just shows up. Hi.
Also, it says martial arts is a strong plus, but not required. So it doesn't really matter anyway. Yeah.
Well, you Pat Morita, not a great martial artist, but the ultimate karate sensei of all time. Not actually good at martial arts or athletic.
Yeah, that is true. It just let me ask you. Does this all seem really quick? I don't know how open casting calls have worked in the past, but we're in November right now.
Yeah.
The movie's coming out in December. Mm-hmm. Is this really quick for a new person to just get cast who needs to learn martial arts, needs to maybe learn how to act if they're not a great actor, has to learn all the lines, has to film for the movie, becomes a star, work with Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio, release the movie? Is this a year? Doesn't seem like a lot of time for all of this to happen.
like I think that's where, if you add up all of those things, this person has no acting experience, they have no martial arts experience, and they have to learn they have to learn all that. Like, that's the reverse of what they're thinking. What they're thinking is, what if someone comes in and they just have the perfect personality, they know martial arts, and they embody this person, but they don't have any experience. Or someone walks in, they have experience as an actor, they're great, they've done some gymnastics, they can learn moves, but they don't actually know any martial arts. That's the reason they phrase it that way, so that if you have two of these three things, we can figure out the third one, is what they're looking for. Theoretically, I would say yes, this is way short on time. Because if you tell me we're going to cast someone in the next 3 months, and then they have 6 months to learn karate, they have time to learn that, and then we're filming, then I go, sure. Like that, right, that gives you time. Mm-hmm. But when it's, we don't have anyone, and we want to start shooting in 4 months, that means you have to find the person, which will take several months.
Chemistry tests.
Chemistry tests.
Jackie and Ralph,
and Ralph's busy in January. All that stuff that, like, to find someone that it is a more demanding role because it's a physical role. Yeah. And so there's a lot to it. Then, I don't know, that was like, even one of the tweets I put out, this feels like a really quick turnaround, because the movie comes out in 13 months, and it's not a special effects film. So movies that aren't special effects films, they don't need an enormous amount of post-production. Mm-hmm. But it is a movie that is based on stunt work, which theoretically requires prep on the front end. That's where I go, that feels really quick. If they cast someone with no martial arts experience, but what if they find someone that has martial arts experience, isn't a trained actor, then it's not so crazy. So, like, they're not saying no acting. They're not saying no martial arts. So they could find someone that has all those things, but they don't want to, when you're trying to find the right person, you don't want to put requirements that make you lose the best qualified person.
Yeah.
Before you've even seen them. Like, oh, you don't have any acting experience, so you're out, even though the person perfectly embodies it. But normally, once again, that's when you have more time. When you have less time, you start putting more requirements to filter out people that are just 10,000 submissions. Yikes. How are we going to sort through this?
Eesh. How many people do you think they have looking through those things?
Well, and I think when you get 10,000 submissions, like you said, people are like, hey, Sean, you should submit your kids. There's a lot of people that don't read before Karate Kid casting at Sony. Here's my kids. Here's Chloe. She's 9 years old. Very white and very not 15 to 17. Very much not a martial artist. Do you think she could be played like, duh?
Yeah.
There's people that did that. So there's, you think what percentage of them you can just immediately nix. And then you sort through it, and then you get much closer. But yeah, I mean, they've got a whole team, especially if you're doing something like this. They're trying to make a show out of it. They're trying to make a big deal. So you announce the open casting, and then 2 months from now, you do a big event. Jackie and Ralph, like, no, we're going to introduce the karate. The sheet drops, and it's like, it's this person.
This guy.
Yeah, ta-da! He's going to be. But so you make it kind of exciting, because, the Karate Kid, that's a title.
Yeah.
And we remember, it's Ralph, it's Hilary Swank, it's Jaden, and it's kind of Miguel.
Yeah.
And so then it's a mantle. It's a thing that stays with you. And so they're going to make a big show out of it. But anyway, they got a team.
So something I just realized.
Okay.
They don't specifically say looking for a male actor.
He speaks fluent English. It does say he.
Oh.
He's smart, scrappy, and skilled.
Oh, you're
we
right.
do.
You're right.
We do have our male pronouns in there.
But do you think like it has to be a male, or what do you think? What do you think if like a female were to audition and be perfect for it? Do you think like they could possibly change that up?
It kind of depends on the nature of the script. There's just very different dynamics of what is appropriate between a male, female mentors.
Yeah, you can't just change the name.
There's some very specific dynamics of what you can and can't do there, and things you don't even immediately think about until you kind of reverse it of what that story needs. Like of course we've done Hilary Swank, but there are differences even in the script of he like just even the way he would kind of wander through the house. You don't have to think about that the same exact way you do with the girl, and that's one of the jokes. Like, what are you doing? And that's a very real scenario. As someone that worked for teenagers doing a lot of trips for a long time, there's little dynamics that does change it, so you can't just immediately swap it out. But it kind of depends on what that script looks like as to what that would be. So,
do they have a script? Do you think they have a full script?
I
feel like they really don't. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of changes and like with this thing. I don't feel like they have like a solid story that they're 100%. Yeah, this is what we're doing. I feel like there's a lot of things that are just up in the air right now. Like, how does this make sense? How do we do this? Because it's also like they do have to kind of connect it with season 6. Did John, Josh, and Hayden tell them, hey, by the way, Ralph is going to like I'm making something up, but like let's say like Daniel gets his hand chopped off at the end of season 6. Like,
whoa, that escalated fast.
That's heavy, but I mean, it's like, wouldn't he need his hand chopped off in the next film? Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
so,
maybe not that, but you know.
So the Hollywood Reporter, November 21st, so 4 days ago, read this article right before we started.
Yeah.
Jonathan S. Whistle, best known for his work on I'm Not Okay With This, is directing the untitled feature, continuing the mythology, and then they're searching for an actor. Rob Lieber, whose credits include Sony's Peter Rabbit, include Alexander, and the terrible, horrible, no good, very good day, wrote the script. The plot line is hiding in the back of the dojo, but wrote the script. So the language, I read that as they've got a script. Like that, it felt like they've got a script. They did first announce this project over a year ago. Once again, like as we talked about earlier, planned for June. Now they pushed it back 6 months. I feel like they've got a script. I feel like they've got a thing that's good to go.
But did they know that Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio were going to be in this movie? Because that plot synopsis that I read to you, how does Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio tie into this? Unless
do you have the source on that leak? What's the who ran with that? Let me see if I can.
The Illuminerdi. So ILLUMINERDI. Oh, actually, it comes from Murphy's Multiverse. That was where it was first revealed. Murphy's Multiverse.
Not a leaker I'm super familiar with. So I take it with a spoonful of salt. Doesn't mean it's wrong. But it's not, there's certain people that they've been playing this game. They're a little bit more established. Not one that jumps out at me.
Okay.
But so I don't immediately take that at face value as the actual plot. Could be. What was the date on that leak?
It was August. The original one from Murphy's Multiverse, August 10th, 2022.
So that's a year ago. So that's it. If that's like, guy came in and go, hey, look at this. The 50-year-old pizza man. He learns to dough up, dough down, and then he beats up, dough down. He beats up everybody. Like, Maybe they went, "Hey, bro, that's stupid," and someone walks in and they go, "All right, we're gonna finish out season 6 of Cobra Kai. So what if?" And then they maybe they fixed it. Maybe they heard that, they saw the internet go, "No, bro, that's not it. That doesn't. Nobody wants to see a 50-year-old loser being trained by a high schooler on how to fight his bullies."
Yeah. But Sean, yeah, listen, I think the article at the time may have been true because we're talking August 10th, 2022. It literally says here, Sony is looking for a 17-year-old male Chinese actor who speaks both Mandarin and English. The character referred to Lee is said to be small for his age, but tough, smart, and scrappy, a skilled fighter.
Ooh.
Now, here's the question.
So, but once again, a year of not fighting the person. You're not fighting the person, and then they do an open casting call.
I know. It's like, okay, so here's the thing. All of these plot synopsises that we've been getting, it doesn't seem like there's really a role for Jackie and Ralph. So my question to you, are Jackie and Ralph actually going to be in this movie, like, as the mains, or do you think like they could just pop in for like a cameo, or like do you think they're gonna do like kind of like let's maybe compare it to like Star Wars The Force Awakens, like Han Solo, Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker, obviously, like do you think like, because Han Solo wasn't in the entire film, you know, Princess Leia was in a very short part, and Luke was like, we all know what Luke was in that movie. Do you think it's possible that they're using Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio? Hey guys, we're in this movie, because that's what they say. They say we're in this movie. They don't say like we are the stars, we are the leads. Do you think it's possible that we are being clickbaited into thinking that they are actually going to be like the senseis, and this could be a total like, no, they're just going to have a couple scenes here, just be kind of cameos?
I don't know. I don't put it by Sony. I like when that plot leak is from a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
A year later, the first update after that is there's some similarities, but also all of a sudden Jackie Chan, Ralph Macchio, like I see that and I kind of go, that when there's no updates for a year,
they just figured that out.
There's a lot of changes, a lot of and now then again, also 6 months after that, a 6-month writer strike started, and then an actor strike started. So then, as soon as those two things are resolved,
sorry.
I'm back.
Sorry, I meant to X out of the other tab. My bad.
I will never forget you. I can't wait until the day we can do a Comic-Con together where me and you sort this out. Good old-fashioned Miyagi-Do, Cobra Kai, dueling fists to resolve this insult. But
while you were gone, I said something really important.
Changes everything. I have the real scoop. I talked to Ralph Macchio.
Oh man, they didn't. Sorry. I just want to say, I don't think Jackie and Ralph even posted anything about this.
I don't know. I didn't check to see what.
I don't think they
their
did.
Social media or anything.
Sorry,
like that.
Just wanted to mention that.
But
yeah,
timing of it. Actor strike ends, writer strike ends, then this happens. So that could mean they were about to make an announcement 6 months ago. And then, all right, well, we're not quite finished on the script. All right, we're not quite finished on. So there's some things that make it a little bit tough to interpret this. A leak from a year ago feels like forever until you realize 6 months of that was dead zone. It was 2 strikes that overlapped. I don't know. That makes it also tricky. Okay, it's because there's so many different ways I would normally analyze all of this. There's so many different moving parts. I don't know. Also, I'm looking to be optimistic. There's a lot of reasons to go, ooh.
Yeah.
I would hope that they wouldn't be so dumb as to kind of announce their movie using those 2 people, and it's like, yeah, they're just the judges at the tournament.
Yeah. Especially after what we've seen from other franchises and the reception. Like, I mean, I just think about Star Wars. Like, you know, like you promote Luke Skywalker as, you know, you're gonna be in the film, and then he comes in at the last 5 seconds. Like, don't do that. don't have Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan at the end of the film take off their hoods and then cut to black.
I mean, you can just imagine the trailer for this thing. They put out a trailer, and it's like they're showing this pizza guy, and he's really struggling to knead the dough, and then like the mafia guys come in and like, hey, we want your money, like, hey, you're gonna pay us for protection, and then this 17-year-old kid beats the crap out of the mafia enforcers, and then it's like, I can train you to have confidence, 50-year-old man, and then, you know, then the Karate Kid
He's
legacy
with his daughter, like,
yeah, it's like, yeah, and then Karate Kid legacy, and then it does the after the title reveal, and we're at a karate tournament, and Daniel walks up and Jackie Chan walks up, and they do some sort of little bit of like, oh, is this a recently waxed table? And he goes, jack it on. Like, so they find some way to like do that. Like, they're like, oh, do you know karate? Do you know kung fu? It's coming December 24th. And we're like, just, you can imagine like this trailer, and everyone goes, what did I just watch? Like, but you can see how it would be cut. And it's the worst thing you've ever seen in your entire life. The worst stereotype of what this, like, every, oh no, Sony, what are you doing?
The like the pizza set is just this like small little shop in the back lot of Sony Studios. Like, it's like, oh man, you're just like training in the kitchen.
Oven. Out of the oven. Into the oven.
Oh my god. Open the box. Close the box. Open the cash register. Close the cash register. Oh, man.
I was just trying to imagine who is, like, it, that they didn't say who, like, all right, we're looking for a 50-year-old man. Initially comes off like a total loser, but can exude confidence once trained by child.
Can make a mean pizza. Oh man, I know, literally. Oh my god, yeah, you have like a child coming and training this guy, and also the fact that in the plot, it's like the child has a thing for his daughter. So it's like, listen, I'll train you in karate, but you gotta give me permission to date your daughter. Whew.
These are great ideas, man. I love this. You're selling me on this one.
You know what? I'm actually excited for this movie now. It sounds pretty funny. It sounds like a Karate Kid spoof. So speaking of, okay, so we know this is gonna be a Karate Kid movie.
Yes.
I want to ask you, because I think that they're gonna actually give this movie a title. Like the Karate Kid, I think you said like the Karate Kid Legacy or something. I think it's going to be similar with what they're doing the Ghostbusters. Like it's Ghostbusters Afterlife, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I think they're going to do the Karate Kid, a new Prodigy or a new whatever. Do you think this movie is going to be called the Karate Kid first off? And do you think it'll just be the Karate Kid, or do you think there'll be like maybe something after that?
Yeah, I think it'll be a Karate Kid Generations or Legacy. It'll be something like that.
Something cheesy.
Yeah,
We shot something cheesy. Oh man. Oh, something cheesy. I had to. So what do you think if you had to make a guess? What do you think this could be?
Legacy or Generations just feel like the obvious ones, or they just call it the Karate Man.
Oh my! Literally, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And also, do you think that this movie? I think that there's a big question. I don't think a lot of people are asking. Is this the first of a couple of movies to come? Do you think that after this, say like this movie does well, do you think they could be setting up potentially? That's why I think this casting is really important, Because what if this is the next guy? Do you think that there could be a sequel to this movie?
I'm not, that's what Sony does. They are looking to milk their franchises. So we've got Karate Kid. Now let's make a whole series of these. The Karate Man gains his confidence. Karate Man defeats the mafia and expands his pizza empire. This is, I think, they're always thinking long term. They want to exploit everything for as long as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if it does well, I don't see why they wouldn't do it. And speaking of it doing well, you know, you cover movies, you cover shows.
I do.
But like I know you pay attention to like how good certain movies are performing, how not good certain movies are performing. So how do you think this movie will do at the box office? How much money do you think it'll make? Will it be a success? Because I think if we look at the Karate Kid 2010, I think it made it made a worldwide total of $359 million on a budget of $40 million. So maybe keeping that in mind, what do you think the Karate Kid 2024, how do you think that will do?
It's so tough to predict because in 2010 it had been over 15 years since we'd had anything in the franchise. And so you're the next generation. There's a little nostalgia, but it's a timeless story. You use Jackie Chan he's at this point in time in his career where he can become the older mentor, but also be like, oh yeah, I love Jackie Chan, and he's going to be the Mr. Miyagi. That's perfect. Like it was real nice timing. Will Smith still on top of the world, and so he can borrowed trust once again. And so it was the right time to do something like that and have it do well. Jump forward, we have a thing that people really like, which means it's more prominent in the discussion. It already has an audience, but now it's a segmented audience. Mm-hmm. And if you can get all the segments together, you're going to be profitable. You're going to make a ton of money. But if you alienate some of your segments, if you make a movie that makes all the Cobra Kai people mad at you, you just lost a big chunk. If you make it only for new people, if you make it only for 50-year-olds, if you only make it only for, you lose an audience. So it kind of depends on what this trailer is. And if you watch the trailer and your vibe is, I think that might work. I think like that feels like we're not, like if they cut that goofy trailer we just talked about the pizza, oh no, my pizzas, oh this thanks kid, and then at the end Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio are the tag at the end, like cracking their lines to each other, people will just roll their eye and go no. Oof. And it'll have a decent enough opening weekend for the novelty of it. It'll fall off the cliff second weekend. You can make this movie cheap enough that I think it'll be profitable no matter what, unless they really way overspend or really to cut a crappy trailer, terrible premise. Otherwise, I think it'll be profitable no matter what, because it's just too strong of a brand and it doesn't need to cost money. But you cut a trailer that it feels like they find a way where, Sam and Miguel have gone off to college, and Daniel's kind of alone, and he meets this guy, and maybe he's moved back because the
Brooklyn.
However, it is known that the latest iteration will bring the story to the East Coast and focused on a teen from China finds his strength and direction via martial arts and a tough, wise mentor. That's in the Hollywood Reporter. Doesn't line up with your synopsis leak from a year ago. This is Hollywood Reporter, but very also non-specific, but it says East Coast. East Coast. Yeah. So maybe we have some reason why Daniel's moved back to the East Coast. He's not in California anymore. His mom's died or whatever. Something.
No.
Yeah. Eventually, some time passes. But okay. So he's kind of, he's an empty nester, and Mr. Han happens to be on moved to cross country, like something like that.
Funny to bump into you.
Hey, you also had an adventure like what? Are
You also tried to catch flies with chopsticks.
What?
My karate master did that too.
Yeah, like, what are the chances? But it like really like hits the tone right, and then this new kid comes along, and you do a Force Awakens, and the good like the version of it that's like does it right, but it's pulling these things together. This thing I think could be a big hit if they can find that spot that pulls it together. But that's the magic that we talked about earlier. Do they have the magic to blend all the audiences in a way that you go, wow, or does it feel like, well, you just insulted me because you cut off Cobra Kai?
Yeah, I agree that. Oh yeah, no go.
And I don't think you need to do a lot with Daniel. If you do something like, my kid went off to college. She's doing great. She's got this boyfriend Miguel, and I love him too. And you just you honor that, and maybe just little cameos. But he's moved cross country. You don't have to do a lot to be able to have another adventure there. And you can shift the tone because you're not going to have the Cobra Kai comedy tone. I would assume you'd have much more the Karate Kid tone. It's not too difficult to do it if they're not freaking idiots.
Yeah, I forget all of the negative things that could be result of this film. If you just look at it like really quickly, it's like, oh my god, Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio, Karate Kid. Like, they could make money with this thing if they promote it right, if they tell an interesting story, if they come up with a good trailer. I think this thing could do very well. And listen, if you are gonna break canon and mess with the Cobra Kai story, like, obviously, yeah, I'm not a fan of this whole premise, but like, just I don't know, just do something like epic. Just have some cool fight scenes or something. Like that's the least you could do. I don't know. I'm just like, kind of tell like an epic standalone story. Like, if you're gonna do it, make it good. But I hope it does well. If it's not a good movie, I hope it doesn't do well, because I hope it like tells us the Sony like, okay, this isn't gonna work. We can't just do whatever the heck we want with the Karate Kid franchise. But if it is a good movie, yeah, like I hope it does well, and I hope I don't know. I feel like the premise is fundamentally flawed, so it's hard to like, I'm trying to just like clear my mind of anything, like, as Miyagi would say, like, clear your mind of all your thoughts and just look at, ooh, Jackie Chan, Ralph Macchio, karate.
Yeah, I wouldn't lock in too much on the specific premise that's leaked. I think when it's a year's gone by, there's hope that that's not it. Like, I think that's such a dumb premise. And then they come back a year later and Jackie Chan and Ralph are there. You go, they must have done some correction. Because everyone looks at that premise and goes, who wants that movie?
Yeah.
But then again, Sony went, you know what people want? They want Morbius, Madam Web, Kraven the Hunter, 3 Venom movies with no Spider-Man. They thought that too, so who knows?
I mean, listen, I'm all for dough on, dough off, in the oven, not out of the oven. So, like, guys in the chat, like, if you're into that, comment it below. Like, Sean, I think maybe we just found it. Like, maybe that's what. Maybe we.
And
just
if Sony producers, if you're watching, we're free to come in and do a little punch up on the script. We've got more dough in, dough out. Like, we've got way more bangers where that came from.
Oh, 100%. 100%. There are so many ways of training karate in the kitchen. We have it all in mind. We're ready. So if you guys need us, we're available. We're ready. We'll pick up the call. So yeah. So Sean, this was a fun one. This was a great discussion. Thank you for joining me. Is there anything
And our
else?
discussion of this movie that we don't even know the plot of yet is probably roughly the length of the final released movie. Woo!
Woohoo! Yeah, literally. So like we could just have this discussion and the movie side by side when it comes out.
Mhm.
I'm excited to hopefully we can talk as further things come
Yeah.
out. I want to get your insight.
As this story unfolds.
As a story unfolds, we will keep you covered.
Yeah. We'll do our follow-up video once they do their live event where Jack and Malcolm go, the next Karate Kid. And then the big plot, they drops down and it's a 50-year-old man. It's like, I'm the next Karate Kid. And then they go, but also his mentor is in fact 17-year-old kid.
It's like they have him behind the curtain. It's like, and here is his mentor, and you see a really tall shadow, and they drop the curtain, and it's just like this little kid. Yeah. Oh, dude, you have to like, can you put out a post like that? Like, you gotta like, you're the first one I've heard say that. Like, I want you to like put out something so that when it does happen, you can say, you see, I called it. I called it.
I said, they're gonna walk out and they go, here's your next Karate Kid. It drops down. It's Zach Galifianakis. And you're like, what? He's like, he runs a pizza place and he doesn't have confidence. And then they're like, here's his mentor. And it's this kid and it's a nobody. And you're like, wow, this is going to be the next Karate Kid. Like, what is going on?
You know those like magic boxes where like they just magically appear. It's like, behold, the next Karate Kid just jumps. I can picture like the title, like Sony uploads like a 1-minute video on their page, and it's like, the next Karate Kid announced.
Man, these ideas are so... Once again, Sony, if you're needing a marketing department, we're right here. There's only more great ideas where this came from.
Oh my god, it's too funny. I have to ask you really quickly. Last thing.
Hi.
Some people have noticed. Look at Jackie and look at Ralph. Do you think this is just like, do you think people are reading too much into this? Or like, even like, listen to how Ralph says, like, we're excited. Are you excited? Like,
Maybe the new Karate Kid will have to do it all. I'm excited. You excited?
I'm excited. Are you excited? Like, do you think Ralph is actually excited for this?
I wouldn't read too much into it because you're anytime you do these, you want to have contrast. So one of them's in dark clothes, one of them's in white clothes. Jackie Chan's this lively guy, and so then you have the person making the announcement is saying it real serious. I would interpret it just as that, not so much as like Ralph Macchio's like pissed off, but like I want a paycheck. But at the same time, they pulled up to my house and they said, "We need you for 2 days for a cameo. We're gonna walk out. You'll make a wax on, wax off joke. You're gonna judge a." And here's a dump truck of money, but we also need you to film a bunch of promos. First off, you're going to do this announcement with Jackie Chan. Then you're going to do an announcement where you walk out, drop a sheet, Zach Galifianakis walk out, and we're going to announce a kid. That's it. We need you for 4 days. I don't know. I don't read too much into it. This is they like, even they did a trailer for a new rom-com a couple days ago. Same sort of idea. Like one of them's like, watch my new trailer. And the other one's like, it's my new trailer. You're always trying to play the two people off each other. So
I'll be honest. I was doing a live stream when this announcement dropped, and some of the comments were just so funny. Like everyone was like, it was like joking, but it was like, you know, Ralph going for that retirement paycheck. Like just all these things. I was like it was just like the way they were saying it was like pretty funny. But yeah, I think Ralph, like, I trust Ralph to not just do it for the sake of a paycheck. I think the legacy of Karate Kid.
And I think he's mentioned before, like they've come to me all along with proposals, and the reason I came back for Cobra Kai was because they had a proposal that made sense. I think he's done interviews and said that before. I think he's like pitched like one point they want to do Rocky versus Karate Kid, and like they pitched every stupid idea you can imagine to me, and I was like, no, I don't want to tarnish their legacy. And then the Hot Tub Time Machine guys came to me, and I went, no, please no. And then I read it and went, huh, that's actually pretty good. Yeah. So I think he does have enough of a, like I said, that's that borrowed trust. I'm sure between 1989 and 2018, there were some awful proposals to him, and that he could have done. And he didn't. So I think there's some reason to have hope there.
Unless this is just really good paycheck. I'm kidding. We'll see. More to come soon. So, Sean, any final words on this Karate Kid 2024 movie before we wrap up? Anything you want to share to the fans about your thoughts?
Yeah, you sold me on the project. I want the Karate Pizza Man.
The Karate Pizza Man. I
The
like
Karate
that
Pizza
title.
Man. Like, that's the title right there. You don't even have, no subtitle, just the Karate Pizza Man.
Oh man. I think that's it. Guys,
Here's the new Karate Kid, and here's the Karate Pizza Man, Zach Galifianakis.
comment below. And then oh my god, they can
Jack
sell,
Black, Karate Pizza Man.
they could sell like pizza boxes like with the Karate Kid. Like they could actually use like this as promotion in pizza shops. Like it'd be perfect. So there it is, guys. Our full-length discussion on the Karate Kid 2024. We'll just
Karate Pizza Man 2024.
Karate Pizza Man 2024. We'll have to stay tuned for that and more announcements soon. So thank you all so much for watching. Sean, where can people check you out and follow you? What anything new coming up on your end?
Yeah, if you look up Sean Chandler on the YouTube, you will either find an NFL player or a guy that looks like me talking about movies. It's the guy that looks like me talking about movies. And as we're on a Cobra Kai channel, you can look up Sean Chandler Karate Kid to see my thoughts on the movies and my ranking. You can look up Sean Chandler Cobra Kai season rankings and find my thoughts on the seasons, the characters, all of that fun stuff. But yeah, I'm getting pumped for December to talk about end of the year lists, fun stuff like that.
Yes. It's going to be a big year for Cobra Kai. So
Yes.
thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this discussion. We will see you next time. And until then, remember, Cobra Kai
Never dies.